So I haven't been doing diary check-ins for a little bit now, a couple weeks or a month, maybe some months. I did one on my birthday, but it was more like a gratitude video, I guess. But I haven't been as consistent with doing them. I think my season just kind of changed, and I started learning to just live in the moment, be present, and rest, and learning what rest meant as a Christian when you're doing it the right way, the way Jesus wants you to rest. Because I know there's a lot of time where it's like a season of waiting, and season of waiting is a season of preparation. Like you should be preparing things. And but when you enter a season of rest, what does that look like? And there is, the way to, there's a, I guess, how do I say? There is taking a nap and resting and all these things. But then there is like, are you resting in the Lord himself? Are you getting closer to him? And I've been taking steps. Haven't been the most. I was gonna say that, and I feel like I shouldn't say that because it's not true. I've been getting closer and just kind of learning because I've never experienced this. So there's grace. I have to understand that. But just what resting in the Lord is, and knowing that like I have done. Oh, I don't know what that is. I have done all I can in my situation in the season I've been in, and now it's just me letting go and letting God do it, and let go, let God. But no, for real, like letting go and being like, I'm letting this go, and I'm putting my faith and my trust. It's not a passive let go or a passive rest. It's an active. And one word that I got this year is like, you get nothing by being passive. Wow, my voice is very dry. And that really stuck with me because I was like, I struggled a lot with, as a Christian, knowing how to take up space. And I honestly, I guess that just, for me, I struggled with believing in general. And so that's something I worked on. And the Lord had to reveal, like, I had a big root of unbelief built in my connection to how Jesus can impact my life personally, how he shows up for me personally. Well, his spirit, so Holy Spirit, but how God shows up for me. And for other people, I was so believing, but for myself, I didn't have the same energy. And God's like, it's not personal to you. Like, why haven't you made your belief personal to you? Why haven't you grown? Why haven't you believed me for more? Why aren't you doing these things? And it was a really beautiful season. It was very tough, but I can say on the other side now, with all the lessons that I learned from that, with understanding the heart posture of where God was even coming from when he was, I say exposing, but showing me myself. Yeah. So it's been a big year of looking in the mirror and seeing who I am, and both on all aspects of how beautiful I am as a person, all that I have to bring, how genuine I am, and knowing that like the strength I have to not let that be robbed from me or conform all the time, because people aren't used to that. But then also the other side of that, which is understanding that I'm not this perfect being. I hurt people, things that I haven't worked on, issues I have, problems I had, my fear of being rejected, so rejecting early, how that affects a lot of stuff just in general, affects the way the Lord can bless me, it affects the people I'm around, it affects any new connections that I would like to make, because I'm so on guard with who's trying to come in. And there's wisdom to discern somebody's character and who someone is, and then there's your fear operating and you just projecting that. And I think I had to learn, like, my cycles. I was a little toxic, can't lie about it. Yes, I'm in the faith. I was a little toxic. I was a little raggedy. There's a little bit of ghetto-ness in me that like was not cute. And so the Lord really just, and I asked. That was a prayer. I don't know what that is in my hair. That was a prayer of mine in the beginning of this year. I was just like, Lord, I'm gonna pray the psalmist prayer, which the psalmist prayer is basically David saying, Lord, seek me, and search my heart, and if you find anything in there that's like basically unpleasing to you, or just like hindrance, or I'm gonna explain it. Anything that you see in there is basically just not it. Expose it to me and remove it, so that it's not a barrier between you and I. And so I prayed that prayer early this year, and it has changed my whole life. It has changed everything. It is so beautiful, because it definitely allowed me to blossom into this beautiful woman who I'm becoming, this beautiful, intentional person, both outside and inside, and actually seeing the beauty that I have on the outside, because I believed a lie that I wasn't beautiful, even though I don't carry myself like that, like, because I know inside I have like this knowing that inside I am a very beautiful person. The way I love and the way I care for people is very one of one, right? And so, because that's how we're made to be, you are one of you. There's no other person like you. And once you understand that, for me, that only came when I actually understood what my identity was, and I got that through Jesus. And when he says, like, you are the head, not the tail. You're seated in heavenly places. You're citizens of heaven. You are more beautiful than rubies. Is that what it is? Something like that. And in Songs of Solomon 4:7, he says, you are beautiful. I said, now, if somebody, well, hold on. If the God I serve, Mr. Perfect, perfection, came to earth and did not sin, perfect, saying that I'm beautiful, somebody lying, because he don't lie. And so I really started to just believe who Christ said I was. I am his daughter. Therefore, he loves me, right? You think of and I personally didn't have the best example of, I would say, like, consistent love in a parental role. But nonetheless, there was a love there, right? And with maturity, I'm able to see that more, and with forgiveness. But when you think of a good parent, right, we all have this idea of maybe if you had that parent, you had a good parent, you understood to accept the love that they can give, or you didn't have the best parent, but you have this idea of what that would have looked like if they could have been the parent you had hoped they would be. And Christ supersedes all of that. He is the perfect parent. He is the father that I dreamed of having. And he's real. It's like, that's very emotional for me. But it's so healing to know that, like, my father, my real father who brought me to this earth, has seen all the raggedy stuff I have done. I was being ghetto out there. I was very lost. That he would still use people, that he would still try to get in connection with me, and that he never stopped pursuing me. It was always him. It was never me. And so that he never stopped pursuing me, even when he was seeing all the raggedy stuff, even when I wasn't living a life for him, even when I walked away from the faith. Like, he didn't hold that against me. It was like really just open arms, and I've never experienced open arms. Usually when it's just like the human thing, I've done it too, but when somebody tries to come back, or somebody does something wrong to you, you have this list of, you have an agenda with them. You have a list of all the things they did wrong and why this can never happen, and this and this and this. And again, still working on that, so I'm calling myself out, but I'm really thankful that God doesn't hold a record of wrong. And I think we have gotten religion and God so wrong, and the Christian faith, because there is a standard. I don't want to disrespect God's character ever and say, like, anything you can come to the kingdom and anything flies, because that's not the truth. But the truth is, anyone who has that willingness in their heart to surrender and be like, you know what, I've tried everything my way. I am so exhausted and it doesn't get better. I've tried everything and nothing works. Like, I can't do life on my own. I need someone bigger than me. I need the God who made this whole earth to help me. When you get to that point, yes, anybody, doesn't matter your walk or where you've been or what you look like, you can come to God and he will with open arms receive you. And then things change as you come in, but that's over some grace time. And when you start to understand God's character and how he wants to have a relationship with you, you really understand that when he's telling you certain things that you're doing aren't okay, and he'll tell you straight up, like, that's not cute, no. But like in the Bible, Job, he's like, Job, who are you? Where were you, Job, when I made the earth? I was like, Job was going through a rough season, not you being like, where were you when I made the earth? But he's right. Like, but that it's like the duality of character. But if you think of a really good parent was never the parent who let you do whatever you wanted. It was a parent who corrected you when needed in love, because they knew they had more like more wisdom and knowledge about life than you did. And you have to learn, even though it's frustrating, to trust that they have your best what's the word? Your best interest at heart, right? And so God is the same way. Like, he's gonna have moments where he's exposing things. It's like, oh, that kind of hurt. But when you understand who God really is, like and I'm still learning, but when you can really trust that he is for you, even though he is perfection, that he is genuinely for you. Like, he loves you. He let nothing, not even death, become a barrier to get to you, to be able to have a relationship with you. When you have that revelation, and you can really like let that sit on your heart for a little bit and let it soften, because once you come in to the faith, like, he takes your heart of stone and gives you a heart of flesh. And somebody who was very cold, I was very numb, and to be able to be like so emotional, so joyful, and it be genuine, every day is a blessing for somebody like me, because I know what the other side was like, and that was so dark and like lonely, and hard. Even though that was all I knew, it was the hard that I knew, so I chose it, because I'm like, well, this is just the life I'm gonna live, until personally I was not gonna live. And I had made that choice. Like, I was like, this day, on this year, I'm going to not be alive anymore. I'm just not gonna live. And so to just really get to that dark of a place on earth, and be in witchcraft, this is me exposing myself, all that darkness that I was in, and the Lord still said, I will choose you. I'm pursuing you. To know somebody loves you that much, like, I am a believer, because he has, from witchcraft, has literally gone and grabbed me and was like, that's not who you are. I didn't call you to be that woman. And then to just welcome me with so much love, and I'm getting emotional, because it's like, it's so beautiful. And this wasn't even what this was supposed to be about. But just like the goodness of God has really transformed my life, and it's, ooh. Yeah, it's transformed my life, and I'm so thankful that I got to the end of me, and he was there. Because if he wasn't, I wouldn't be here. And so, so emotional. I think it's so beautiful to know, like, at my end, he was there. Nobody was there. Nobody else. And it wasn't their job to be there, right? Like, we're humans. We're not meant to carry certain weights. And nobody can be God in the physical. So you can't put that pressure on somebody to be your God in your life. They don't have that capacity. That's unfair. But nobody was there, because it couldn't be. And I didn't let people be there. And just to know, like, at the end of me, God was. Like, when I got to the lowest point of me, God was there. With open arms, not with a finger talking about, oh, you did all this stuff, now you want to come to me. He was literally like, welcome home. It was like the story in the Bible. I don't know if you know it. If you don't, you should read it, whether you believe or not. But read the story of the prodigal son in the Bible. It is so life-changing. Oh, that was gross. It was so there was a couple taking a photo together. That's so cute. Read the story of the prodigal son in the Bible, and it just will show you God's heart towards his people. Yes, it's telling a story, but if you can think on the bigger scheme of, like, that is how we are. We are prodigal sons coming back every time. And the way the father was so elated to see his son, he rewarded him. He threw a party. That is literally what God does. And so, yeah. I don't know where I was going with this. But yeah, it's just so beautiful. And I, within this year, turned 27, and I'm just so thankful that this year I made that prayer and I stuck with it. I learned to grieve. I'm still learning, but I'm learning to lean into grief instead of running away from it. I've learned to, like, let go of stuff, to stop settling, to stop believing I wasn't worth what I am worth. And again, that was all personal. It was a me year. It was a me against me. It was me versus my inner me. And in doing that, I was able to remove unbelief, and in that place, allow God and believe God that he loves me. And that's why I got emotional, because it was that revelational truth of, like, I got here to understanding that, or accepting God loves me. Understanding his love will be a life process, because he is perfect. He loves far beyond what I could ever understand, but that makes me excited because I would never want to just fully understand God's love on one note and be like, that's all it, that's it. That's not true. Like, I want to be able to evolve with God and throughout life and understand his love in a new way. And when I get this, understanding, like, I'm understanding God's love more because now I have this, and this changed my life, and doing this has helped, and just seeing God's love in what I'm able to not even just do, but also in the quiet time, like the things that, like, we're just here, we here. So in losing my lack of belief, accepting God's love, I've been able to accept self-love, and I love myself, and that is really cool because I think a lot of times I've heard women and I've seen, or men, talk about like self-love and all these things and how they got there, but to know, like, for me, that I was able to have self-love because I accepted God's love, it just feels, I don't want to say different because I can't speak for anybody else's self-love, but it wasn't works. It wasn't like I went to the gym, which I did. I started working out. Get right. Hold on. But it wasn't like I had to do all these things on the outside and not work on my inside. It was literally a work that was from the inside out, done in the quiet place. And to know that now I just have like I'm overflowing with love for myself, and love for other people, and learning that I can accept love from other people and not be so on guard with that. So transformational. And so, like, 26-year-old me, I'm so thankful that she stayed the course, that she went through the process, that she experienced heartbreak and she bounced back from it. And learning to be thankful for all the times my heart was broken because, or I felt like it was broken. I feel like sometimes saying your heart broken can be a little dramatic just because, like, your heart really doesn't break. But on the other end, with maturity, like, we understand what we're saying when we receive that achingness, that, like, something that failed that you really hoped would have worked, or somebody acted in a way that you didn't expect them to act, etc. How that hurts us. And so I'm so thankful. I've been able to just be in gratitude for the last couple of weeks, and just genuinely just resting and learning so much. I'm learning so much about everything, and I've been watching how I eat, and that's just not even like in the physical of like what I eat, just like what am I intaking, what conversations am I involving myself in, who's around me, and what are we doing, and how are we working, and when I'm showing up into the spaces, am I conforming, or like how am I operating, and really just like looking at myself, and it's just been beautiful. So I'm thankful that I stayed the course, and thankful that I did experience that heartbreak. And when I look back, because I needed that. I needed those lessons that those people had to bring into my life. And it empowered me to just show, like, to be able to see my own resilience, to show my character, to learn and operate in forgiveness. Let's also know forgiveness does not mean, baby, you get to just come back and we get to be a little passive because I'm Christian. No, you need to stand on what you did. But also, there is grace and forgiveness for you. But there is boundaries. You show me a character. You know what I mean? But there is like some grace, and I'm learning. I've been learning about like the full totality of that. But yeah, I'm thankful just for the journey that I've been on, and how in just 3 years, my life has not just changed, it has radically changed. And somebody who won't tell my whole testimony here, but has been through as much trauma and as I've been through, in just a very, very rough childhood in life, to sit here and be as loved and believe that, to feel healthy, and to be able to show that fruit, to walk in the fruits of the Spirit and display that, is such an honor. And I would have, in 3 years, God is radical. God can do anything. In a year, my life changed. In 3 years, and I know there's still more healing to do, but to be on my feet as I am now, with what I went through, is like, there's just no way. Like, it's straight up only God. Only God could get the glory from my testimony, because I could not do it. It would have taken me years to get past this, years to forgive, years for everything. And I'm like 3 years in, I'm like, yeah, I think I'm ready for certain things. I'm okay. Whether that comes right now or not, but I'm more ready than I would have ever believed. And to fully operate in that the best that I can and know that I have the tools and the, first of all, the partner, Christ, to do everything with, to be like, I'm gonna mess up. I will fail people. But to know, like, I also have the heart to be checked. I also want to grow. I want to be better at forgiving. I want to be quicker to forgive. I don't want to be angry. But I also don't, I'm not going to be a pushover. I'm not going to let people just take advantage of me just because they see I'm a genuinely nice person, etc. So just learning the balance. So that was 26. And this is 27, and I'm excited.